The best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets casket is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision, we got too many. Tick your tech. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just drop. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted to come around.
Fantasy Fling with DFS Army. We are looking at another week where we cashed. So week 11 cash lineup review. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. So high scoring week in cash. It was a chalk smash. So on these high scoring weeks, we know we are going to do quite well as far as when we have a chalk smash week, because that is certainly what we like to do in cash. So let's go ahead and jump right into the cash lineup. All right. So I'm going to start with looking at a couple different cash lineups. So this was someone, I can't even pull mine up, so we're going to have to figure it out. Somebody sent me this cash lineup. They said cash notes were fire. In fact, we'll just run with this. I scored 185 points in cash, and the cash line was 157 points. So really, Brock Purdy, Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary, these were core plays for us. I also had Tyreek Hill as a core play, and Tank Dell was the top owned wide receiver on the slate. So it was in my cheat sheet. This is a good matchup. This is a guy who's getting a lot of volume, 35% target share the week before, and he was going to be the highest owned. So you're going to want to eat that chalk. Rondale Moore was the top value option at 3,300. He got 6-7 targets the week before from Kyler Murray. So loved him in this spot as the top pay down option. And Trey McBride was the highest owned. So, you know, it's about eating that chalk. And then Jahmyr Gibbs was on the chalkboard in a good spot and, you know, had a little bit of extra money to pay up a defense. Normally we don't like that, but when the lineup comes together and allows for it, then yeah, find a defense in a good matchup as the Dolphins were going against Aiden O'Connell as big favorites. So my lineup was very similar. I had Brock Purdy, Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary, Tyreek Hill, Tank Dell, Rondale Moore. The one difference was I had Pat Freiermuth and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I snuck Freiermuth in there as a tight end punt just so I could get Amon-Ra, as I loved him in that spot. So scored 185 points and cashed. And then let's go ahead and take a look kind of at the cash line. So we're in the $25 single entry double up. Make sure you're playing those single entry double ups because they are much easier to cash in lower cash line than in the massive multi-entry double ups. So let's go ahead and look at this lineup. Like I said, 157 points was what the cash lineup was. That was the cash line. So Brock Purdy as a quarterback, Singletary, Jerome Ford. I wouldn't have played him in cash, but you know, it worked out for this player this week. And then, like I said, Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra, this is something that I did in my cash lineup as well. Just being able to fit those guys in there. Rondale Moore. So overall, I think the lineup's pretty good. I just don't like the Jerome Ford, JSN combo there. A little too low owned for me. I would have ate more chalk, but this certainly got there. Let's go up a little bit. Let's see what we can find. Yeah, so this is a lineup that I definitely like a little bit more. Kyler Murray, Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary. So core plays, Tank Dell, DJ Moore, and was able to get Tyreek Hill in there, Marquise Brown, Trey McBride. So, eating a lot of good chalk, and this lineup hit 171 points. So obviously pretty good as well. So going to want to look at a couple things when we do these reviews. Kind of the cheat sheets show that, there were certainly paths to hitting the cash line. We've cashed 9 out of 11 weeks this year. So we've been doing good, but oftentimes it could be one-on-one decision point would be the difference between you cashing and not cashing. So, and I kind of build my cheat sheet based off some of the better plays and the chalkboard. What is the chalkboard telling me? Now, the chalkboard will sometimes give you areas where there's bad chalk, and we got to identify that. So I did not like Aaron Jones. I put that in the Discord notes for a DFS Army VIPs. That's bad chalk. I would not play him. This is, these little tidbits are something why you want to be a DFS Army subscriber. So if you want to try it out, we have a free month in the video. If you just want to certainly try it out by joining another site like, Prize Picks and Underdogs and all these other sites. Or you could just use code FANTASYFLINK for 10% off a VIP subscription. And that'll get you access to the chalkboard, the coach's notes, the domination station, the research station, all these tools. And if you like this kind of content, let us know. Hit that like button. Comment. Let us know who you played in cash, how you did. But like I said, bad chalk, Aaron Jones. We love Devin Singletary. We had him as a core play. Same thing with Brian Robinson. Christian McCaffrey is always a great pay up option. And, we had identified on early in the week when I did my cash game VIP video, Brock Purdy as the cash game quarterback, and it ended up being the highest owned guy. And so it ended up really working out. And like I said, with Tank Dell, highest projected own on the slate. So him and Tyreek Hill were two guys that I had to get in my lineup. Really wanted to be able to fit Amon-Ra in there as well. So that is the build I went with in cash. Couldn't do Trey McBride. So I felt Freiermuth was an acceptable punt, but Trey McBride was the top owned and safest tight end to play on this slate. But yeah, that's a big part of the process is the chalkboard. And then let's just kind of look here. It's cash sheets and the guys that we really like. So like I said, Devin Singletary, Brian Robinson, those were core plays for me, as well as Tyreek Hill. I felt there was a few cash quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, Jared Goff, and Brock Purdy. But like I said, I went with Purdy. Christian McCaffrey being, the top pay up option. Yeah, I considered paying up, but you could see kind of my thought process here. These are my cores. I was doing paying down at running back and paying up at wide receiver for Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra St. Brown, specifically with Tank Dell and Rondell Moore as the mid-range guy. And then the cheapo, like I said, these were the top guys at tight end, but I did the Freiermuth punt so I can get both Amon-Ra and Tyreek Hill in there. And then, I ended up actually playing Dolphins defense, so it worked out pretty well. But that is going to do it for the Week 11 Cash Lineup Review. Thank you for joining me. We will see you all next week for another Cash Lineup Review.